right, good morning, everybody, or afternoon, whenever you're watching this. I want to do a very quick overview of Unit 1 before we jump into the quiz here. So, you notice the study guide was simply your unit objectives and your daily learning targets. The learning targets were each day I had a specific goal, and I wanted you to be able to do these things, one of these things or two of these things at the end of the day. So, these should have guided your studying, okay? Because these are kind of the purposes I'm trying to shoot for. So unit objectives summarize the Trinitarian nature of the origin, foundation, and mission of the church. Notice we did that. Here's a daily learning target. Summarize the role of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit in the church's origin, foundation, and mission. Okay, that obviously goes with that objective. So we did that last Tuesday. Remember, we talked about how each of the persons of the Trinity was related to the church's origin, foundation, and mission. Okay. Identify the purpose and mission of the church in the world and their role therein, or your role therein. Well, identify the purpose, mission of the church in the world. This learning target is obviously tied to that unit objective. Your role therein, this is why we looked at the states of life, hierarchy, consecrated life, and laity. Because your particular role in carrying out the church's mission depends on your state of life, right? Because as you recall, each of those states of life has a particular vocation within the church's mission, okay? Kind of a particular aspect of that mission that it focuses on carrying out, okay? Then describe apostolic succession and its role in the preservation of sacred truth. All right, we touched on apostolic succession. That obviously has to do with one particular state of life within the church in particular, but we'll unpack that as we look at church history as well, okay? Then this bonus one here, notice I put bonus, explain the Holy Spirit's role in the church from the apostles, the magisterium, and charisms with which or in which the Holy Spirit imbues the church. Okay. This is one that I haven't necessarily been aiming for explicitly, but which is intimately tied up with everything we've been talking about. Okay. So, kind of global overview here. We looked at where the church comes from, how it got here, and why it's here, why the church exists, and what it's supposed to be doing in the world. Okay, and of course, its origin and foundation and mission, they're all originating in God. That's all from God as its source. Okay, and so the church as this sort of giant organization or even organism, kind of a living thing that is designed to unite the entire human race, bring it into communion with God. Okay, that's kind of the overarching theme. And then the states of life that we talked about, the hierarchy, consecrated life, and laity, those are three different general ways by which the church does that. Okay, so there's some specialization there. The hierarchy carries out that mission of bringing the human race into communion with God in a particular way with particular gifts. And religious or consecrated life carries out that mission of bringing the human race into communion with God in a different way, okay, with different gifts. And the laity, likewise, bring the human race into communion with God with different gifts in different ways, okay? So that's the overall arc here. So, of course, these learning targets are very important. And for each of the three states of life, you need to be able to identify, first of all, what defines that state of life, what's the particular vocation within the mission of the church that state of life has, and then what gifts from the Holy Spirit perform that. All right. So we can see the Holy Spirit active in the church throughout the whole thing and kind of behind the scenes. All right. Okay, so I'm not going to give any specific answers because that's kind of up to you on your own studying, but that gives you sort of a global overview of what I'm looking at here. And the quiz, I don't imagine, will be that difficult if you've got the big picture in mind and you've been paying attention and doing all the work up to this point. All right, so best of luck to you.